There's something about manifestation that almost no one tells you, and it's the very reason why, even when you're doing everything right, nothing seems to change. You visualize, you affirm, you meditate, and yet the more you try, the more life seems to push your desires further away. This is not because you're doing it wrong. It's because you've been misled about how it works. The truth is simple, even liberating but uncomfortable. The biggest block to manifesting what you want isn't your lack of desire. It's the energy of separation you unknowingly create when you keep wanting it. Wanting says, "It's not here yet." Trying says, "I still don't have it." Planning says, "One day, maybe." And the field, that invisible intelligence that reflects who you are, does not respond to plans or promises. It responds to identity, to conviction, to frequency. I spent years stuck in this loop, visualizing futures that never arrived, repeating affirmations with hope, waiting for a breakthrough that always seemed just out of reach, until I understood this one idea that changed everything. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. When you say, "I will be," you're confirming that you are not. When you imagine something distant, the signal you emit is lack, not creation. No matter how much you want something, if your inner state says it's absent, the universe responds with absence. I was addicted to the idea of someday I'll heal. Someday I'll be abundant. Someday I'll be at peace. But someday is always tomorrow, and the only place where change happens is now. So I made a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision to become what I desired. Right here, in this breath, I stopped reaching outward and started embodying the state of someone who already had it all. Not pretending, not faking, becoming. That was the turning point. The difference between waiting and creating. The moment I said, "I am," instead of "I will be," my mind hesitated, but my body listened. My ego protested, but my energy aligned. And slowly, almost quietly, reality began to shift. As I deepened my awareness, something else became clear. The universe doesn't understand language the way we do. It doesn't listen to what you say. It listens to what you feel, what you embody, what you carry in the silence of your inner world. You can repeat 1,000 times, "I am healed," or asterisk, "I am rich." But if your emotional state is soaked in fear, lack, or doubt, then that's the true frequency being broadcast. And energy, not words, is the true language of creation. At first, this realization was frustrating. I thought I was doing everything right. I was speaking affirmations, creating vision boards, meditating. But what I didn't realize is that I was still operating from the vibration of not having. So I stopped chasing results and began cultivating internal alignment. I asked myself, what does abundance feel like right now? What does healing feel like? Even before the symptoms are gone, I began to live as if the future had already arrived, as if the version of me I imagined was already breathing through my body. That's when things changed. Not instantly, not dramatically, but definitely and irreversibly. Because the moment I felt wealthy, kind opportunities began to find me. When I felt strong, my body began to respond with balance. When I felt love, even in silence, it started showing up everywhere. I had stepped into a new identity, not one I was trying to become, but one I remembered I already was. The subconscious, I discovered, hold the real key. It controls 95% of our habits, choices, and automatic reactions. And it doesn't care about what you want. It mirrors what's familiar. It clings to what's been repeated. So no matter how desperately you wish for change, if your subconscious is still wired for lack, fear, or separation, it will keep returning you to the same cycles. That's when I shifted my focus to reprogramming, not mentally, but emotionally. Once I understood that the subconscious is like a silent operating system, always running in the background, I knew I had to speak its language. And its language isn't logic, it's repetition, emotion, and presence. So I began crafting a new reality from the inside out. I didn't just say, I am abundant. I breathed it. I felt it in my bones. I walked as if it were already true. And the more I felt it, the more my nervous system believed it. Slowly, the programs I didn't even know I had, the quiet voices saying, you're not enough, this is too much, this won't last, began to fade. These weren't just affirmations. They were activations. Each one like a key unlocking dormant parts of me that had been asleep for years. I started observing myself, how I spoke, how I reacted, how I carried myself even in small moments, like choosing how to breathe or how to sit in silence. Everything was information. Everything was a mirror. And every single moment was an opportunity to install a new identity. I found rituals in the simplest of things, morning silence, walking meditations, even the seconds before falling asleep. That twilight space between waking and dreaming became a portal. That's when I whispered the new reality into my subconscious, not with effort, not with force, with trust. And something beautiful happened. The resistance faded. The need to prove disappeared. And in its place came a soft, powerful certainty. I am already the version I once chased. Not because I saw evidence in the world, but because I no longer needed it. I stopped needing proof because I became the proof. That's when life began responding in unexpected ways. Sudden clarity, new relationships, physical healing, quiet synchronicities that arrive like gentle confirmations. You're on the path. Stay aligned. Living in alignment didn't require perfection. It required presence. I wasn't trying to fake it till I make it. I was choosing to be it now, before the world gave me permission. So I made a commitment to live the frequency, not just wish for the outcome. I began noticing how everything in my reality, from my posture to the words I used to the way I handled challenges, reflected a deeper vibration. And if that vibration didn't align with who I said I was becoming, I shifted it, not by force but by awareness. Because the truth is, reality doesn't bend to effort. It bends to coherence. It's not about constantly chasing the next technique or tool. It's about becoming a living broadcast of the reality you want to experience. Consistently. So I created space. Not just physical space, emotional and energetic space. I simplified. I became more intentional with my time, my energy, and the people I gave my attention to. And through the simplicity, I discovered something deeper. Discipline is devotion. Devotion to who I'm becoming. Devotion to the version of me that already lives inside the moment I choose presence. That's when I started living in cycles, not of waiting, but of reinforcement. I crafted a 21-day container, not a challenge, a recalibration. For 21 days, I practiced embodying the new identity 3 times a day, morning, midday, and night, not just by thinking, but by feeling the new frequency moving through me like it already belonged. I journaled what shifted, the subtle signs, the moments of doubt, the flashes of clarity, not to measure progress, but to anchor the transformation, because writing, like breathing, is a tool to witness yourself change. The truth is, your nervous system won't believe in the new you unless you show it again and again, not just once on a good day, every day, especially when it feels inconvenient. That's where the reprogramming becomes real. Eventually, the effort began to fade. The practices became second nature. The thoughts grew quieter. The emotions steadied. And then something subtle but powerful happened. I no longer tried to become because I was. The identity I used to chase became my baseline. There was no longer a gap between what I wanted and who I was. The separation dissolved. The waiting ended. I stopped needing signs. I stopped asking for confirmation. I stopped checking if things were working. Why? Because when you're truly aligned, you already know. There is no urgency in certainty. There is no anxiety in presence. I became the signal, the source, the rhythm that life began to mirror. Doors opened, not because I forced them, but because I no longer stood in my own way. People, ideas, and opportunities found me, not because I hunted them down, but because I was finally vibrating in sync with what I once only dreamed of. And perhaps the greatest shift of all, I stopped being a student of manifestation. I became the embodiment of creation itself. I no longer looked outward for proof. I no longer projected my power onto the future. Because the truth is, what you're looking for isn't out there. It's waiting for you to remember it's already in here. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I don't ask, what do I need to attract today? I simply choose, who do I want to be today? And in that choice, I realign my energy. My actions follow. My reality obeys. It's no longer about effort. It's about resonance. When mind, body, and emotion sing in unison, creation becomes inevitable. There is no need to push. There is only alignment. This is the art of remembering, the science of vibration, the freedom of becoming. And once you live this way, you'll see you were never waiting for life to change. Life was always waiting for you to remember who you are